All right, let's do this. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous. Okay, let's get into it. I'm actually very excited and a little bit nervous to be sitting here and recording this video. Typically, my videos have structure, they have points. I'm going to be teaching something. I record these videos from the point of view of an expert, but I'm starting a new series called Maya's Messy Middle, because that's truly where I feel like I am right now. And so I just had brunch with two of my girlfriends, and we just had a really raw and honest conversation about life and business, because those are the things that I talk about with my friends, especially those who are in the entrepreneurial space. And I really feel like, if I'm being honest, this video is really just going to be vulnerable and transparent about where I am in life and business and why it feels like this messy middle, and some of the things that I've learned, but some of the areas where I still feel stuck. My goal with this series is to just transparently share where I feel a little bit confused about some of the things. And so, I was having a conversation with my girlfriends, and I've been feeling like I've been in this messy middle for probably 3 years now, which is crazy to say, because for the past 3 years, especially in the last 2 years, I really felt like I was forcing a lot of things. I think I was showing up as an expert. I was showing up for my clients. I was doing the events. I was creating the expert positioning content. I had built, an amazing brand where I've had the luxury and the privilege of being able to serve so many people and make really good money. But I could tell that there was a lot of friction in the things that I was doing. I really got to a place where I'm like, if I never talked about a 5-figure launch again, it couldn't be sooner. And I just think what I built had a great season, but I think I just kept trying to pull along some of the things that I built into what needed to be a new season. But because I've built an entire brand about being a personal branding strategist and a business coach and having a very specific niche, it just felt like I was supposed to continue talking about the same things. And even within the last few months, I've been talking about reinvention, and I've been helping my clients reinvent their brand. But I really think the conversation of reinvention was because I knew that I needed to evolve, and that I had evolved, and that I wanted to reinvent. And I would dabble into the things that I wanted to reinvent, but I hadn't fully embodied it because I was nervous. It was a little bit scary. And so when you've built a brand around doing, the same thing over and over, for me, it was personal branding and business strategy and content and messaging and impact and launching, I felt a little bit strange or nervous about completely pivoting. If I wanted to do something different, would this make sense? How do I make it fit into what I've already done? And so right now I'm in Bali, and I'm so grateful to be here. But I'm like, when you go there, you need to figure out what you're doing. And of course, I could have figured this out in Atlanta or whatever city I'm in. So if you're watching this, you don't need to go to Bali to figure out your life. I simply just wanted to come, but I was like, if you're going to go that far out, make the trip worth it and leave with a level of clarity. Also, I've been seeing the number 777 a lot lately, and I don't even know what that means. I don't even know if that means anything. If it's like, girl, ignore that, or it means something. But when I do think about the number 7, I do think about completion. I feel like 3 years ago, I completed a great season of Built to Impact. And I think that my company still can impact people, and, the courses and the programs that I've created can still impact people. But I knew that I wanted to do something more. And so the question that I had to ask myself is, what is true for you right now in this season? What is true for you right now in this season? And I think that question is so important because I was operating based off of what worked in past seasons. What does my audience want? And something encouraging that my friend said to me is, I think there's an entire group of people that don't even know who you are yet, that you're going to serve with this new version of you, with the things that you actually want to do. And so I'm like, okay, well, with this whole messy in the middle thing, what do I even want to talk about? What does this even mean? And I really do want to be clear about what do I want in this season. I think in past seasons, I wanted to run $100 million business. I was excited to be the CEO. I was excited to have a team. And all of those things were true for me in that season. But at some point, those things stopped being true for me. And I didn't want to just flippantly change my mind. I didn't want to just say, oh, I don't feel like it today. Because I try my best not to just simply move off of feelings. I really try to do my best to say, okay, well, what's the most disciplined thing to do? But I do think that feelings have some data associated with it. And so what are these feelings trying to tell me? So now I'm in the season where I'm like, if I were able to create the business that I wanted, if money were no object, what would I do with my time? How would I want to help people? What I do know to be true is I really like organization. I really like good structure. I like things to be clutter free. And so physically and even digitally, like if I could get paid to organize people's businesses, if I could get paid to organize a Google Drive, organize a Dropbox, fix the naming conventions of a company to help it run more smoothly. I think the reason that I like organization is because I associate it with systems. I'm a systems girly all day through and through. And the reason I like systems is because I like to remove as much friction in my life as possible. If I know that I want to work out consistently, then I need to already know what the workout is. I need to know where I'm going to work out. I need to know what I'm going to wear. So to me, that is a process. That is a system. Okay, well, where am I buying my workout clothes? Am I working out with a trainer? How far away is the gym? Is there any friction between me waking up, putting on these workout clothes, and getting to the gym? And so that's just an example of systems. But I like to get clear on what I want for my life. I like to get clear on what I want in terms of goals. And then I like to create structure, operations, systems, and organization around that. Even in my house, I actually paid to have organizers probably within the first year of me moving in. I like to be able to see everything at a bird's eye view. I like to be able to open up my makeup drawer and I don't need to rummage through anything. I need to be able to look under my bathroom sink and I'm not rummaging through anything. I like to be able to look through my fridge and not have to move things around and we're lifting things up and this should be in the fridge. I cannot deal with that. And so I know that that's something that I innately need, the organization and the structure, and something that I actually enjoy doing for myself and for other people. And so I don't even know what that means for me in this next season. Do I go become an organizer? Do I do operations for other companies? I don't even know what it means. But in this messy middle, it's simply about being curious. And when I was having a conversation with my friend, I was like, I do think that's something that I do well for other people and where I bring value is a level of clarity. And so she challenged me and she was like, but is that your highest level of value? Just offering clarity. Is that what's most important right now in this season? Getting clarity. And I do think clarity is so important. I think she challenged me because she's like, clarity is a result of action. Clarity is something that you get in hindsight. And so I'm like, if I sit and think about what is the most important thing beyond just the clarity, I think it's two things. I think it's one, truth. What is true for me in this season? And two, curiosity. In order for me to get the truth, I have to be curious about why I'm feeling the things I'm feeling. I have to be curious about what are some of the things I really want to do? Actually giving myself the permission to explore other ideas. And when you're so focused on being in a niche, you're so focused on building a brand around this certain image that you think you need to have, sometimes you remove that level of curiosity. You're like, no, this is the way it needs to go. This is the content that I need to create. And I really do think I started to remove some of that curiosity. I think I started to remove some of that truth, because I'm like, well, the truth is, I am Maya Elious, the CEO of Built to Impact. I am a branding strategist. This is what I help people do. And after 3 years of some of that feeling a little bit forced, and now me seeing how it's affecting me in my business, affecting me with my finances, I'm like, girl, you've got to figure something out. And so now that we're entering Q4, the question that I ask myself is, who do I get to be in 2026 if I honor my truth in Q4 of 2025? And I'm really excited to explore that. I'm really excited to just have the permission to freely navigate what that looks like. It feels freeing to be able to talk about these things without having like the structure of like, okay, we're going to talk about 5 ways to grow your personal brand, or 3 ways to have a successful launch, or all of these structured things. I love teaching, and I genuinely do love what I do in terms of my coaching business, but talking about it from the aspect of trying to prove myself, it started to feel like I was proving myself after 10 years. It started to feel like, well, I need the right hook so people know that I'm an expert. I'm completely out of that. I don't have anything left to prove. I really honestly don't. And I don't mind doing the work to position myself as an expert. But what I've noticed in, even 10 years of being a coach and building my brand is that I talked about those things, and it was easy to position myself and create the proof because I enjoy talking about those things. And once that enjoyment started to die down a little bit because I had evolved, everything felt forced, and it made me become more inconsistent. And so I'm like, so what is true for me that will allow me to be more consistent? And I think honestly, just sitting and being honest and being vulnerable about me just trying to figure out what is next for me. And, it almost feels like, I don't know, I guess it feels a little bit foreign because I typically show up with the answers. I typically show up with the level of clarity. I show up knowing what to do next, especially because that is what people hire me for. But there's just something freeing about saying I'm figuring it out in real time, and I'm allowing people to follow the journey. And it doesn't discredit me as an entrepreneur. It doesn't discredit me as a business coach. And I think sometimes we are afraid to be messy out loud. I think sometimes we're afraid to figure it out in front of other people because we think it's going to discredit us. And it's like, what are you trying to prove, and who are you trying to prove it to? Like, who am I afraid of not looking polished and perfect in front of? I think the audience that I've built, they see the receipts, and then the new people coming in, we can build community because they're going to relate to some of the things that I am talking about. So my goal with this series is to just find out what's true for me. And I think I am already pretty clear on what's true, but really figure out, what does that then mean? How do I want to materialize this truth? And for me, that's just asking the right questions. I think in this series, I'm going to be asking a lot of questions, and I really hope that these reflection questions also help you figure out what is true for you and what do you then want that to look like. Now I need to ask myself, do I still want to run my group coaching programs? 2026 will be my first year not doing my live event in 6 years, which is insane. So it's like, well, what do you want to do? You want to go do operations for people? Do you want to go organize people's homes? What do you want to do? And the sky is the limit. You get to choose, you get to decide, and you get to change your mind. If you are a very disciplined person, if you are a very structured person, especially if you are type A, you're really focused, sometimes the idea of changing your mind we can villainize that because it's like, well, they're inconsistent. But it's okay to change your mind when you come across new facts. It's okay to change your mind when you come across new facts. And so as I'm being clear about what the facts are for me in this season, maybe I'm changing my mind about what some of my offers are. Maybe I'm changing my mind about how I want to make money. Maybe I'm changing my mind about the type of content that I want to create. And I'm just excited to see what that looks like. So in this season, if you've been following me on social media, some of where I feel like I've been feeling out of alignment too is, of course, one, with the business. I am not excited about talking about launching and brand strategy as much as I did in the past. That's essentially my bread and butter. And if I get clients that way, I am excited about that. But I'm still in the messy middle of figuring out what's next for just honestly the Maya Elious brand and what offers I want to have and how I want to make money. Do I still want to have a team? Do I want to be a solopreneur? What does that look like? Being newly in a relationship this year, that's also long distance, and really just figuring out what that looks like. That is a messy middle for me. I'm learning so much about love and grace and kindness and compassion. Even with my faith, of course, I've always been a believer, but just thinking about, how do I want to relate to God? What do I want to do with my faith? Do I need to be preaching the gospel to more people? Do I need to be trying to bring more people to Christ? With my finances, do I want to take a sabbatical and just live off my savings and live off of my investments? Do I want to keep selling the same old things to continue having cash flow while I'm trying to build something new in the back end? There's so many different things that I'm figuring out. And as I figure it out, I want to be able to share with you all. But the truth is, I don't have all of the answers, and I think that's okay. I think it just makes it a fun time to just consider, what do I want next for my life? I think it's okay to not have all of the answers. And I think a lot of us do get to this point. I think many people don't talk about being in this messy middle because we do like to show up polished, especially when you're building a brand. It really is sometimes about putting, the most polished version of you out there, putting your best foot forward, and then sometimes building a brand and really honestly building a community is showing the unpolished parts, is showing the imperfect parts. So really, I guess how I'll end this is just kind of talk about what some of my desires are that I believe to be true for me right now. I launched my podcast, Work Hard, Live Soft. That is something that I was excited about because I was like, this is an area where I can talk about what matters to me without it being around like launching and brand strategy. And yeah, some of those episodes are still in there, and hopefully it's going to help some people. But I created Work Hard, Live Soft because I wanted to talk about the systems and the structure that allows me to live a soft life. I wanted to talk about the honesty of, you need to work hard, right? The soft life is a result. It's not something you just wake up and do because you saw a quote on the internet that says you need to live the soft life, right? This is not about being delusional. It's about having the right structure, having the right systems, having clarity, having the discipline to have what you desire. That's a big philosophy with Work Hard, Live Soft, that every single desire that you have for your life must be tied to a discipline. Meaning, what work are you willing to do? Are you obedient? Right? What are you going to sacrifice to make sure that you can have the things that you desire? So I love talking about those things, and I love creating systems and templates and checklists to help people create a path to get the life they desire, to get the business they desire. That is truly what I'm excited about. So finally, a few weeks ago, I launched the Work Hard, Live Soft community. I had announced to my email list that I'm not going to be doing Impact Weekend, but if you want to be connected to me, join the Work Hard, Live Soft community. I do think that in the future, I'm going to have retreats about what that looks like and building a life and business that you love. It will be pretty different from Impact Weekend. My prayer is that it's more intimate, I don't know. I don't know all of the details yet. So I don't want to, overshare without kind of getting a level of clarity. But right now, I'm excited about work hard, live soft. I'm excited about sharing resources, sharing templates, and just helping people declutter all of the ideas in their head, declutter all of the things going on in their business, declutter all of the things going on in their life. So one thing we know about Maya, one thing Maya knows about Maya in this messy middle is that I can't deal with no physical mess, okay? I saw this meme that said, unfortunately, my nervous system can't tell the difference between being chased by a bear and having a messy kitchen countertop. And no words have felt truer. So listen, if you want me to declutter some things for you, let me know. But other than that, we're just here. I'm curious, if this video resonated with you. I'm pretty new to doing videos on the fly with no structure. I'm not one to ramble. I like structure. I like bullet points. That's just part of my thing as being a messaging expert, refining my thoughts and getting to the point. So this is just really kind of where we're at right now. And I hope that this video resonated with you. Let me know, where are you in your life and business? Do you feel like you're in the messy middle? Do you feel like you're finally getting clear? Am I alone in this? Is everybody else in the world just, we all know what we're doing? Let me know. And thank you guys for hanging out. See you later.